Okay, so meditation. Meditation has become a difficult subject lately, apparently. But still there are these sincere questions about, because, well, seekers listen to what comes to them and they evaluate. So should I meditate or shouldn't I meditate? This is a question. And I will answer this question towards the sincere ones that are asking them. What does this mean? Well, not important. Meditation has to be a must for the seeker of truth and can only be abandoned when guidance explicitly tells him. Not because he is choosing what is best, not because he understood this or that philosophy, this or that teaching. No, oh no, so this is, so I will, no. Only when guidance explicitly says so. For the majority of seekers, you see, meditation could probably be the only thing apart from suffering that could help them to clarify their path, their understanding about the teachings. So this is why this has been pushed out of the way. It is true that there is this duality. It is, if it is, but I don't want to go into the merit of this. You will understand eventually. I will not question techniques of meditation. I will question motivations to meditate. The motivations, it's always the important part. Yes, these techniques, most of the techniques, they are to the seeker of well-being in the sense of slowly, gradually, in a way that he can deal with, that he can manage. Come out of it, come out of all these beliefs that tie them to what he calls reality, until he understands other things and silence and all this blah that I've been talking about. So certain techniques, they are a part of this, and the technique also there's an object that's being pursued. The mind is focusing on something, is one-pointed, you see? So this is not really the best, whatever. It's not yet the thing. It is outward still. But understand, if you're full of afflictions, or some afflictions, if you're still grabbed to worldly goals, well, probably this will be more useful. But in the long run, it has nothing to do with this. You see, the meditation, not as a technique, but as a posture, inner posture, which means a posture of the seeker of truth and not the seeker of well-being. This is what I will discuss. So the practice of this meditation, forbidden word, practice of this meditation, and the practice of self-inquiry, they are more or less the same. When meditation is there, when self-inquiry is there or gets established, they will be sane. And they will not depend on anything. But as it is a practice it will still have certain dependencies. So meditation. Meditation, it's like this kind of meditation with the attitude of the seeker of truth. It's like self-inquiry on steroids, the practice. As it is established, it is the same. You see? As you sit in the meditation posture, body straight, chest out, silence has to be established. But as you sit in this posture, it's like picking a pot of water and put it into the stove in the big fire, turning on this big fire. So in normal undertakings, when you're moving around, you see, it's like the intensity 10 of experiences, of impressions that are hitting you and provoking something which you use as a means to gain distance and coming back to silence. In meditation, this increases 100 times, 1,000 times. If you're pursuing something, well, this is not yet what I'm talking about. But just by sitting straight, energy starts moving, fire starts moving. And starts to bring everything. You see, it's like all of you have heard about detoxifying the body, the mind, and all these things. So the body-mind complex has these mechanisms of input and output. When it is the input, this is the seeker of well-being. He is bringing things to him, collecting teachings, collecting all these things. Input. When it becomes a seeker of truth, he is cutting investments, important. So things are letting him go also. Output. Now output is not putting things into the world. Things that he was grabbing are collapsing. And only the posture starts this process of letting go and collapsing into the body, emotions, mind, into all of this. It is illusion. Yes, of course it is. But what isn't until it is real? Everything, even these petty attempts of whatever. So meditation is the same attitude as self-inquiry. And first, stillness of the body is conquered. You see? So there's this sitting or lying down. This lying down is nothing, you see? If you want the fire of the stove, sit straight. And first you conquer the steadiness of the body. Not moving. Absolutely no movement whatsoever. Pains will be there. What do the pains want? They want to make you move, to give them importance. And you remain steady. And even if you have to move, if it is unbearable at that moment, you will move slowly with the same meditative attitude. You will stay a little bit, then you come back again and you will push more. Meditation is something that it's not about having a moment to meditate every day, it's final. It has to increase and increase and increase. As meditation increases, worldly investments decrease. You cannot be doing the two things at the same time. Only if you're a seeker of well-being. So there's no difference. Meditation becomes an investment towards worldly goals, and nothing changes. For the seeker of truth, two things at the same time, impossible. So as he remains still, all these, from the most grossest sensations to the most subtle ones, all this will be purged out. And if in the beginning he cannot remain still, eventually he will. Stillness at the emotional level, at the mental level. You see, when the seeker of well-being starts meditating, he feels better. Because this is what he wants from meditation. He feels a little bit more clear. Because this is what he needs. Because he thinks with a clear mind, his worldly goals will become achievable. For a seeker of truth, as he starts meditating, chaos comes. Chaos. Mental chaos, intense mental chaos, emotional chaos. Then peace, a little bit of peace. This peace that comes prepares for the next chaos, which is more deeper chaos. As this chaos comes and you remain steady, unmoved, it will release. Then more silence, more stillness will be there. Attention, as in self-inquiry, remains at the source, at the I source. And you can use even the question, because the question in itself takes you back. You see, turmoil of thoughts will pull you out. The question, who am I, brings you back. And the more you try to stay there, the more confusion, the more turmoil comes. Sometimes it will give you a distance for you to become confident. And when you're confident, poof, bashes you out again. You think, oh, I must be doing something wrong. And this is not going anywhere. It's becoming worse. No, it isn't. The more deeper the restlessness, the more ingrained restlessness that I've spoken previously, the more intense is the experience. And you see, input and output has this, more or less the same experience for the seeker. He is living it. So if he is a seeker of well-being, as the turmoil begins, if he increases the time of meditation, as the turmoil begins, he quits. I must be doing something wrong. This is not what I've applied for. I wanted well-being. This is creating more chaos and confusion, so this must be wrong. It is according to his motivations. The only thing. So it's better for him to keep it lightly. 5 minutes, 15 minutes, half an hour, 1 hour tops. Don't go more than this in one stretch, because, well, then your well-being will go down the drain. If you keep it superficial, you will get this feeling nice sensation of this. Remaining at the I source. And in that posture, steady, everything becomes more intense. All those things that you would take, it would take more time for you to face, will be there. intensely, one after the other, one after the other, one after the other. So meditation, you see, for some of you, it's like a rope that ties you into illusion. It is a rope that promises salvation, but keeps you tied into illusion. But this is according to you. So, when this silence, when you come close to this silence, you see, to this meditation in silence, where you stay at the eye source, and you dismiss importance of all these restlessness, these forces of nature to impel you to move, to engage in your investments. When you give up on this, same as self-inquiry. This technique, this following a technique somewhere, trying to achieve something, this one-pointedness of the mind. This is bounding to illusion, sustaining illusion. This stillness here, in this body of silence, in the eye source, remaining there steady, untouched by anything. This is the way to stillness, to silence, which in itself is the basis for the final dissolution. And stopping this, techniques may change, because if you're a seeker of truth, it doesn't matter if you're still holding to the world. You have to have your pains, your importance, and all of this. This is part of the game. But if you're sincere, guidance will bring you through all these things. Through all these things. Well, different techniques that will exhaust themselves. They become, first they are very important, then they become meaningless, and another one comes, until you reach this point of abstraction. Abstracting from everything that seems real. Well, you have to understand by now, if you reach this point, that outward world unimportant. So eyes closed. Eyes closed to the outer world, eyes open to the inner world. Just stillness. As something comes to disturb this stillness, to drag attention from the eye source to the rest, whatever that means, you will bring it back again to stillness, to the eye source, and remain. And you will increase these periods, these times. There's no limits where you can increase it. When meditation is established, when self-inquiry is established, there is no difference. And they will not depend on circumstances, on physical postures, on whatever. It is true. Before of that, a lot of things help and a lot of things disturb. And what makes you see what helps and what disturbs is motivations. If you want to go to a party, or if you want to stay quiet in silence, makes a big difference. Because if you want to have fun and going to a party, staying alone in silence will be disturbing. If you want to stay alone in silence, and you're being pushed to a party, the party will be disturbing. It's always about motivations. But meditation is something that can bring all with time. For the seeker of well-being, more time. But eventually, it will bring him. So meditation should be practiced by all seekers of truth, of course, until guidance explicitly says to stop. For the seeker of well-being, if he is trying to be a seeker of truth, but it's not really succeeding, waiting for this guidance to say stop will be a relief. Stop. For the seeker of truth, he has established himself. And I'm speaking still only about, and also about posture of the body. And the meditation as an attitude of, like a commitment, a daily pursuit. This part of stopping all of this and just remaining, this will be difficult, because in a way meditation becomes an attachment, a safe space. But guidance will be there to tell him when to stop. So he doesn't have to worry about anything. You see, the seeker of truth doesn't have to worry about which is the best teaching, which is the best technique, which is the best master, which is the best this, that. No. Guidance. He has to be aware, be ready, waiting, available, willing for guidance. And guidance shows. And when it comes the time where this meditation stops, the attitude is there. It is established, so no need for this sitting. But guidance says so, not your logic, not your mind. Guidance. Guidance. The voice of the Master, the voice of the Guru, the voice of God. Your voice. Not what you think you are, but who you really are. And as you start this meditation practice, from wherever you are, if it is sincere, you will see that your process as a seeker of truth will gain life, something tangible. The support, the guidance will be tangible. Most of you have no idea what I'm talking about. Now, you may give a different meaning to these words and think you are understanding. Only a few of you understand this. The others have to find out. It is there for you also, but you have to find out. You have to become seekers of truth. If truth is what you're looking for, if it isn't, it is okay, no problem. No have-tos. Everything is need-based. All investments are need-based. This thing, oh, you have to become a seeker, this doesn't exist. This is for those who have this need, this call. If you have more questions about meditation, because this is, well, a very big subject, your questions are always the most important ones. Send them. There's no problem with touchy subjects. If it is sincere, you can ask whatever you need. Not whatever you're curious about, whatever you need. Whatever is touching you, this is a doubt. A doubt is not a mental curiosity. There's something that has a feeling for you, has importance, real importance. Because these are the knots that then can be broken. Curiosities is just that, well, outward flow mentality. So no doubts absolutely whatsoever. So if there is no guidance and should you practice meditation? If you're a seeker of truth, yes, of course. Trust what is coming. So the technique that comes to you, grab it and practice it and intensify the time of your practice. You just need to do this one correctly. Start cutting all those things, intensify your practice. Eventually, if you're sincere, guidance will come. Or guidance will tell you where to go to continue your work. So meditation for all, until guidance says otherwise. Questions, doubts? Shoot.